Hello, I hope this video finds you doing extremely well. This video is going to be a discussion or a little chit chat about the 5 main things to know about online bullies. Though it is going to be focused on online bullies, you can find these things in bullies anywhere, really. You know, bullies you deal with in real life, bullies at work, bullies in an office, bullies in government, bullies on the road. But I wanted to approach the topic from a mainly spiritual perspective. And by online bullying, I mean people who dump on other people for no specific reason. An example would be people who come over to other creators' YouTube channels, mock them, ridicule them, put them down, laugh at them, leave nasty comments, or challenge them in any shape or form. So here we go. The first thing to know about an online bully is that they are highly unconscious. They are extremely unaware of what it is they are doing and why it is they are doing what they are doing. Spiritually, something or someone online triggers an emotion, a very uncomfortable emotion in that person. And that uncomfortable emotion tends to be related to a wound or a trauma that occurred to them. And because they are not ready, they can't, they don't know how, they don't want to deal with the uncomfortable emotions that arise because of the triggering that has just occurred, they end up reacting by projecting their pain onto the person, the someone, the something that triggered their pain. So they end up dumping the pain that they are feeling, the emotions that have arisen within them, on to you or to whoever the target of the online bullying happens to be. So basically, because they cannot deal with their own pain, they end up inflicting pain, maybe even suffering, onto others. As the old saying goes, misery loves company. The second thing to know about online bullies is that they are extremely unhappy people. Mainly because they refuse to acknowledge their pain, their emotions. They refuse to deal with them. Maybe refuse isn't the right word. I really truly don't think they know. They know how. They've never been introduced to methods and different ways of dealing with their own emotions. So because they can't or they don't know how to deal with the pain or the uncomfortable emotions that seeing something online or hearing something or encountering someone or watching a YouTube video triggers within them, they create a looping pattern for themselves that, though is protective, it doesn't really alleviate the wound. Emotions doesn't allow for any type of healing, doesn't allow for them to grow. So they end up dumping their pain somewhere, dumping their anger, dumping their rage, and moving on thinking that I feel better now. But the cycle only continues. The loop is a closed loop. The emotions continue to arise because the wound has not been dealt with. It's an endless cycle, and it causes them deep misery and deep pain, and they know it. Even though they might pretend that they are happy-go-lucky, which causes them to appear as cruel, to be quite honest. It is all an act because they are extremely unhappy. Looping in patterns of inflicting pain and suffering onto others, thinking that this is the only way to alleviate their own pain and suffering, is the definition of misery. The third thing to know about online bullies is that they, sorry to say this, are failures. Even if they put on an act of being extremely successful. The reason for this is because they tend to be extremely reactive individuals by their act of online bullying that clearly displays uncontrollable, unconscious reactivity. So they end up self-sabotaging themselves as well in real life. And that self-sabotage will appear in the form of repetitive failing relationships, repetitive problems at home, with family, at work, failed business ventures, conflict at work, conflict at home, conflict at school, failure at school. I think you know what I'm trying to get at here. But bullies in general tend to be failures. Online bullies are extremely drunk on ego. And this actually relates to point number 1, because being drunk on ego can't be synonymous with being highly unconscious. But for the sake of this video, I made it a point on its own, because being drunk on ego is their own defense mechanism. And it doesn't matter how much really you try to argue with them or try to present these facts to them. Anything that will get them to self-reflect, they will immediately reject. So it is never their fault. It is always someone else's fault. It is your fault for being an idiot. It is your fault for doing a YouTube video that didn't satisfy them. It's always the external world's fault. It's always someone else's problem. They are incapable of taking responsibility for their actions, because they are incapable of taking responsibility for their emotions. So how do you expect them to be responsible for their actions? No, they deserved the bullying. They deserved the anger. They deserved the hatred. She deserved the ridicule that I put out on her. Number 5, online bullies tend to lack self-control. Not just self-control, actually. They tend to lack self-discipline. So, if you're dealing with a bully in real life, you will find that they are highly impulsive in their nature, and they are highly unpredictable. And they might even be explosive in their behaviors. They'll do something out of the blue. They'll say something unexpected to bring you down, to hurt you. Because, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to be mean, from a vibrational point of view, bullies, be it online or offline, tend to operate from a very low scale, the gutter, as we say in layman's terms. And because they operate from a very low vibrational scale, or the gutter, they cannot handle other people who are operating from a higher frequency. So rather than elevate themselves, it's so much easier to pull you down, to drag you down, to throw mud and shit at you so that you feel ugly and bad in hopes to lower your frequency. And that's it. Those are the main 5 points that I wanted to share with you from a spiritual perspective about bullies, online bullies and offline bullies. Now that we've discussed all of this, what do you do when you are subject to online bullying? The easy thing to do is to retreat, to feel bad, to take on the low vibrational energy or the negative energy or the bullying that was thrown at you and think it is your own, to hold on to the heavy, dense, shitty energy that was thrown at you from a very, very, very low vibrational operating human being. And because we're not trained in energy whatsoever, this heavy energy will latch on or hold on to the person that it was thrown at. And it might, if you believe it, bring your own frequency down. So you'll start to believe what they said about you. You're going to start to absorb that negative energy into yourself and bring your own frequency down. If you're doing a creative project, it'll bring doubt into your work. It will diminish your creativity. So the best thing to do is to recognize it immediately as not yours. The energy that a bully just threw at you is their own. It is not yours. Reject it, refuse it, see it for what it is, and identify the bully as an unconscious human being who's unaware of their own pain. And because they are suffering and because they are in so much pain, they want to make you feel it too, because that is all they know. They are not doing it intentionally, even though some, sadly, have come to take joy in dumping on other people. But they, like I said, are drunk on ego. After identifying it as an energy that is external, doesn't belong to you, when you're at home and some stranger knocks on your door, do you let them in? If you don't know them, no, you don't. The same applies for this external foreign energy. Don't let it in and protect yourself. So if you're a spiritual person, I would immediately begin some form of spiritual cleanse, maybe even a meditation to let go and to release all the energy that does not belong to you. Intend to not only reject it, but to release it if it has already attached itself to you. That act on its own will be of significant benefit in bringing your own vibration back. A spiritual cleanse can also be in the form of incense. It can be in the form of high frequency music. You might want to also go sit in a nice bath with some maybe lavender, high frequency essential oils. As you meditate, And as you listen to some high frequency music and engage, connect with your own vibrational frequency and empower yourself with it, ground yourself in it, and release all that does not belong to you, be it words that were spoken, be it words that were typed, be it action that was directed at you. It is all energy that does not belong to you. And as someone who is conscious and who has been subject to bullying the past little while, both online and offline, I would like to remind us all that perhaps more than anyone in this world, bullies need love. Bullies need compassion and need understanding. As hard as it might be to do those things and to implement those strategies with someone who's dealing you quite the ugly hand of energy in the form of hatred, it is on us to understand that right now and for a while to come yet, the world is going through an evolution where consciousness is rising and where we are going to operate more from a heart-centered space, where energy is going to be very important in dealing with one another. I hope this video helps as we are living through times that are a little bit chaotic, and people who are awake, aware, like yours truly, sadly, tend to attract a lot of unconsciousness, which is why I decided to do this video. If I do not see you before the 25th of December, I would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas.